Work it, make it, do it, make sense.
We're here at Devoxx UK and I'm with Tara Walker, who's hello, giving a talk this morning about deep learning in the cloud. So maybe we should introduce what deep learning is to anyone who, people might have heard of machine learning, but they might not know what deep learning is.
Okay, perfect timing. Because I actually, in the beginning of my talk, that was the first thing I went over. What's the difference between AI, machine learning, and deep learning? And the quick and dirty is AI is obviously what we think it is, right? It's the human interaction of a computer. A computer actually making human-like decisions, or that kind of thing. I mean, there's two types. We won't get into all that, but there's two types of AI, and of course, the narrow AI, which is people are afraid of Skynet taking over. We're not there yet. And so then machine learning then is the implementation of AI. So how do you make AI work? That's machine learning. And that's just a predictive modeling and algorithms that do predictive modeling based upon data sets, right? And so deep learning is really, and it's stair-step, right? Deep learning is machine learning, but a specific theory of machine learning called neural networks. And the reason why it's called deep learning is because neural networks use several layers and pass inputs to each other as they process them. Now, we've had a hearty debate about deep learning, so I should probably mention it there. So we talked about there's three types of machine learning, right? There's supervised, there's unsupervised, there's semi-supervised, which is a combination of both. And so in a purist view, neural networks, in a purist view, should be unsupervised, right? Yeah. It should learn from the data and be able to be self-learning. But I've had so many debates on this here lately where, even today, someone's like, no, but neural networks today are really not unsupervised. They are supervised. So, the debate goes on. But from a purist view, I guess, the algorithm should be able to, as the layers go down, learn from each other and get a result. But the debate rages on. So that's what deep learning is. We're going to say, for argument's sake, deep learning right now is semi-supervised machine learning. See, they come in that enables AI. Was that clear as mud?
Well, it makes sense to me. And maybe we should say that, well, for anyone who's not sure, that supervised learning, typically you're learning with labeled data, so you have the right answers. And
right.
Saying, can you find, if I tell you what the output should be, can you get close to that?
Exactly, right.
And unsupervised is, okay, I have this image. I'm not going to tell you what the image is of. Can you find a pattern in the image? I don't know, can you tell it's a cat? But
right.
That would be, I guess, semi-supervised because it has to know what a cat is.
So
I'm not sure.
Yes, no. Okay, so great question. So at the purest view, supervised is, it has to have some kind of user interaction, right?
Yeah.
I know that if I give you this data, I know what the expected output, like you said, should be, and I'm actually interacting to get to a result.
Yeah.
Unsupervised is the computer is running these algorithms and making these predictions without user interaction, and it's learning from each other, which is why the debate rages about what neural networks are, right?
Yeah.
So, unsupervised is where Skynet, if we ever got there, to everyone's chagrin, I was like, I like to think of, narrow AI is, it's Star Wars, CP3. There we go. He's nice. He talks to you, right? He's not Skynet, but
yeah.
So if we think about supervised, I would say when people really don't know, just think about it as a user has to do something. They have to perform something, have to know something. Unsupervised, the computer is running algorithms and learning from those algorithms based upon a set of unknown data. Yeah. So known, unknown. And then semi-supervised, think about it as it's a combination of both, right? We have some variables that are known. We have some information that's unknown. We have some user interaction, and we have some interaction with the computer is actually running them themselves. And right now, I think we're really in a semi-supervised learning mode with the neural networks that we have. So that's it.
The debate.
The debate rages on.
I'll wait for the YouTube comments.
Right, exactly. Yeah, today was fun though.
Good. So in your talk about deep learning in the cloud, what kind of applications would make use of deep learning in the cloud? I don't know. What a situation would be. I have a tech company and I want to start using some kind of machine learning. Who should use it?
Oh goodness, everyone. So what I talked about today was the premise of the talk was AI for all the devs, right? So there's obviously, we just went through this huge debate of all this, what is AI, machine learning, deep learning. And what my talk was today after going through that was, how can you get started without being a data scientist, without understanding, neural networks or deep learning or any of that. And so I talked about some of the services that are using deep learning that you can use today. To your point, if you had a tech company, and let's say you had a gaming company, and you wanted to have your game have the characters talk at specific times, and you only had the stream of audio. Right now, it's really, really difficult. Someone had to sit there and cut up those audio streams and try to match it to the mouth of the character that is talking, right? I mean, gaming is a great example of that. And think about how hard it is. You develop this game, and you're trying to get the sequence of them talking exactly right. Well, one of the AI services that is using, these machine learning, deep learning technologies is Poly. So I can make an audiobook, and I have something called speech marks using also a standard called SSML, right? And I can now make an audiobook because I can say the sentence ends here. The inflection of their voice should be, say this fast. And SSML is a W3C standard, but then when you add things like speech marks, so it knows the beginning or end of a word or beginning and end of a sentence, then think about how much easier it is than to map a text to be spoken based upon that metadata of those things. So if you're, for instance, so immediately a gaming studio could do that, or audiobook for kids. And then I also talked about, natural user interfaces, so talking. So think about customer service things where we call in, and right now IVR can be challenging. But what if you had, similar to Alexa, where I was calling in and I could actually talk to a machine as if like I'm talking to you. And so natural user interfaces and natural speech language is really important for those things. So if you think about the ramifications of that, I can now have customer service things be better. What if I'm an employee system and, think about the stock market, right? Everyone's yelling out things of that nature. What if I could just talk to my computer and to my phone and say, hey, buy, Amazon stock, it's at this price. And that's better than yelling and waving and writing down paper and everything else. Imagine how silent the Wall Street would be if people, all they had to do is go, hey, buy the stock and I want this many shares, and it could automatically do it for you. And think about how much more effective, because again, from a stock is a timing perspective, it's really real time. And so we talked about that, and also talked about text to speech interfaces. So we talked about things that just have APIs right now that, even without knowing about all this debate about neural networks and deep learning and cognitive learning and all the debates that's going on now, you can immediately become a pseudo data scientist by just calling different APIs and leveraging that. So we talked about that. And then finally, we, like most cloud providers, have offerings now for what we call a deep learning AMI. So just, it's simple a VM, right? But it has every machine learning framework already installed on it.
Oh, right.
And we have what we call a cloud formation template, where you can run it and it immediately sets up what a deep learning framework in the right way for you, so you can immediately get started, not only with learning, but let's say you already are familiar with the models you want. Setup is part of the battle, right? So imagine being able to have one click and have this huge GPU instance ready to go for you, and able to do some cool deep learning things, whether it's learning or for real world examples. I mean, today everyone's using AI, and I don't think we even know it. Even down to, think about this. If I click sweep on my email, that's using a form of machine learning, right? I just say, hey, I want you to sweep all email that is 30 days old or by this person. I mean, it literally can run a quick algorithm and say, okay, more than likely she means these, or this person, all I know is John. 30 days and John, I can make some kind of, indication. So there's lots of things that's going on. Facial recognition for security. Banks are doing that to prevent fraud. I mean, there's lots of implications as we keep going down the path of AI. Hopefully not the Skynet, though. So, yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see.
Hopefully not.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us